Well, family, it is now 6 o'clock Eastern. Um, 6 o'clock Eastern. Is it 6 o'clock? I can't think. 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, and 5 p.m. Central Time. All right. So, with that being said, I just want to thank everybody for joining me this evening. All right, I got to go through my disclaimers really fast. The information I share with you, I make no guarantees that you'll achieve the same outcomes I did. But if you need supports in the special ed arena, get with the right folks. Me, I'm the right folks. All right, we're going to move on down the road after I've done that little disclaimer. My purpose for this evening is to allow you all to know a little bit more about who I am and where I come from. I was made aware that people didn't really seem to actually know what I did or actually what I do or who I am. I just seem to be a mystery to many people, although I could tell many people about them. Oh my God. So I said, well, let's see if we could go ahead and bring some closure to that. If you were with me last week, I went ahead and said people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So my mission is to open the door so that more people will know, like, and trust who I am. So on this evening, oh, before I forget, put it in the chat so we can talk about that. Where you from? Where you watching me from? Go right ahead. I like looking at that to see who all is watching. So this week, we're talking about who is Dr. Natasha Scott. That's what we're talking about this week. We're going back to the earlier years. That's what we're doing, the early years. So I have a guest in my studio today, none other than my sister Anita. But before I bring her on, the reason my mom isn't my first guest is because if you know, like I know, she told me, better not have my face on that internet. So I went with the next best thing, which is my sister. My sister Anita. My sister Anita is older than me. She's my elder sister, but she was there from the beginning. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her in so she could talk to you all about me as I was growing to my greatness. All right, my sister. Hey, Miss Anita.
Hello, hello, hello.
I just want to thank you so very much for joining me today and actually saying yes, you would. Sometimes little kid sisters, they ask older siblings to do stuff and they be like, you don't get out of my face. But I thank you that you didn't do that.
You
All
are
right. So we're going to get going. But I do have a question for my friends this evening. Do you know why you do what you do? That's my question for the night. Do you know why you do what you do? Do you know why you're in the career that you're in? That's a question. Many of us just say, it's just what I do. But is it really? But that's my question for this evening. So we're going to open this thing up with my first question for the evening. Miss Anita,
yes, ma'am.
who or how was I as a child or a baby growing up? What's your perspective on that? How was it for me?
Well, if I start first, of course, as a baby, I'll never forget that day when you came home from the hospital and I let our mother know that you were the most beautifulest baby I had ever seen. And yes, I had seen many babies, even though I was a teenager. However, as time went on, time progressed, you was always just outgoing, even as a baby, very nosy, if I could say, always observant, looking, you know, and of course, as you continue to grow and start talking and walking, it was nothing that you wouldn't find your little self in, you know, like you just had to know, you just needed to know.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
yeah, that was definitely you. Um, oh my God, let's see. I'm just trying to think. As you definitely got older, you were very playful. You played with our other sister, which is a little younger than you, not by much. Um, you were playful. You had the neighborhood friends. Um, you were a protector of that baby sister. Um, yeah, you were definitely a talker. So you were not the child that anyone had to worry about taking advantage of because you were going to tell it. That
I
was
was
you.
going to tell it. I
That was,
love it.
yeah.
So, my question would be, did you notice anything special? Was it something like, that kid's got something special about her? I don't know, but I see
Well,
something.
well, for a minute there, we thought you were going to be a comedian. Definitely what came up came out, and a lot of it was definitely quite funny. So, me myself as a childcare provider, I had you guys helping me out at times, and I definitely could tell that you were going to be someone also later working with children. You had a niche like no other. Like you would see things in children that maybe that parent didn't see in that child. So yeah, and it's probably in our mother because it's definitely in all her children, that gift of children. But you, the one that definitely went further, the education, the degree, the doctorate degree, you know, you knew that's where your heart was at. So yeah, I definitely can remember one memorable time when you were young and I told mother, I said, that's going to be your white picket fence child. Everything in the house is going to be white. She's going to have the children that are going to know their ABC as soon as they come into this world. So, you just always had that heart for the best, and not just children, just in everyone. Anything you would put your hands to, you wanted to give it your best. So I do
Well,
admire that in you. Yeah.
well, I thank you for that. So there you go, family out there in TV land. I like kids. I do
She
well
like
with them.
she likes kids. She does very well with kids. Yeah.
Well, I now have another question for you. Being that that's the case, because kids say and do the darndest things. What is the funniest childhood memory you got with me? What's the funniest one? Like that's some funny junk.
Oh my God. To say one is an understatement, but I mean, there's a couple. There was one, I want to say you had to be all of maybe 3 years old, and we were outside. It was nighttime, and you came to mother and you was like, Mommy, the moon is aggravating me.
Bye.
I literally will never forget that. I looked at mother and I was like, what does she know about the word aggravate? What did she even know about that? But Tosh, Dr. Scott, I know you're my sister, but I can't, I have to mention this other one. There was another time when one of the neighbors, she was pregnant, she had miscarried her child. And you was one of those nosy little children. You just knew everything, like, oh, I can help. You were I'm gonna go right into it, and I'm gonna be the help. Well, anyways, the young lady had miscarried her child, and I came in and I let mother know. I said, oh, so and so um lost her child. That's what my exact words was, she lost her child. And you looked up, Tosh. I'll never forget it because you were so low to the ground and you looked up at us as we were standing there. You said, Mother goes, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And you go, it's okay, mommy. She'll find it.
Oh, out of the mouth of babes.
Oh my
I just
God.
know if it was
You
lost, we gonna find it.
you were probably one of Bill Cosby's first kids when he said children say the darndest thing, because I would have never put that together. Yeah.
Yes.
And then, but you never stopped. I got to add this last one. Even up until high school, when you were playing basketball and you had an accident where you broke your leg, and
That
you
part.
had the teacher to come in. So you had the tutor to come in. And that was another funny moment. The teacher question to you was, what would you be doing in the next 10 years? You, you said, hmm, that's a good question. I really can't answer that question because I'm not there yet. But I tell you what, you come back in 10 years and you'll know what I'll be doing.
You know it.
How could I answer that question? I said, this is a kid with like just mind boggling because adults don't think like that. And sometimes adults, we do think that we have it all together or we know it all, and we don't. And the good part is to never forget where we came from, because that's the only way we're going to be able to help anybody in this world, is to never forget. Because now these children are coming up and we don't ever want to forget that. Oh, yeah, I was once a child.
Yes, absolutely. Do you know, I will tell you this. I remember it was a funny moment. It was the funniest thing ever. It was the jokes. It was the good jokes. It was a practical joke before I knew what a practical joke was. But we were in the car. We was in the car, and it was me and our younger sister Melody. It was and you said, I'm gonna take a picture of y'all. And we got all excited because we saw this camera that you had that was real tiny. It was about this big. And we were like, really? Where they get those cameras from? And we got all excited, and we hunched up together, and we was all cheese and cheese. And you started clicking, and the water started squirting all over us. My God, that was some funny junk. Ah,
I
do
knew
you
where you
know?
were going when you said that. I knew where
I
you
haven't
were
liked
going.
taking pictures ever since. I'm like, I don't know if that's a funny camera. Something gonna come out on that camera. Scarred as a child. Look at that. Oh my gosh. But growing up, I do thank God that I had you as a sister. I think you were a great sister. Um, Growing up, there was a lot of things we would do, and I love the little toys you would give us. I think it was like I don't know if it was an abacus or something. It was something small, and we would play with those toys, and I just enjoyed hanging around you. You were fun. You were the fun sister. I always remember you being fun, just fun to be around. And it's like, gosh. And as you grew older and we were coming up, you moved on as what children do. They grow up and move on. Mom and dad's out there, they leaving. For those who are struggling with the empty nest syndrome, they going, and it's okay. If you've instilled in them everything that they need, let them go and let God do the rest. That's all I can tell you about that. I'm a testament of that. But I just thank God that you were my big sister, because I know some kiddos who struggle. They struggle and their siblings aren't the kindest siblings. And I've seen it where they come through the school system, and oh my goodness, I've seen them in the school together where how it's like oil and water, and whoa, that's a struggle. And to teach them that, hey, you guys need to love on each other because you are siblings. That's your brother. You take care of your brother, you take care of your sister. And I thank you for taking care of me growing up as a child, and
You
now I can take care of myself. I'm all grown up, but I thank you for that. And I just thought I'd publicly let you know that
are
I appreciated that.
you
You,
are
you took
welcome.
you took good care of us growing up as kids. When mom had to go to work and you were there in the summers, it's like, what are we doing? A stickler. That's where I got the stickler for. It's time for a nap.
Hmm.
You going to bed. Absolutely. but I'm not sleepy yet. You going to bed. I don't care about
That
that.
guy. I've got to clean up, and you're going to be in the way.
Yes. And okay, so I have one other question for you. Was there ever a time where you sat and you looked and you wondered? I wonder truly, all joking aside, I truly wonder where Natasha's headed. I wonder where she's gonna go. Where what is she gonna really do in life? Was there something that just sort of kind of stuck out, that it was a behavior or something that I exhibited often, where it's like she does that often. I wonder where she's headed.
Well, honestly, when you started out, teaching, traveling teacher at that, that said a lot. Out of our mother's four children, were to me the only one that really stepped out and said, I'm a go getter. So I definitely see a go getter, and you don't get me wrong. Send all of us, but we're local with it. Our brother, of course, he stepped out and, did his basketball career and all. But to see you go as far as getting your doctoral degree and branching out, you never have ever been a quitter. I know that we all experience things. Nobody in this world has not experienced anything. And if they haven't, keep living, you will. But to see that you did not allow your setbacks to set you completely back, but you allowed them, you used them for your good. And I hear you say a lot, that greatness is in us all, and I admire that because even though you're my sister, and even before I even heard you mention that, that's something that has always stood out in me. I don't want to ever forget where I came from, because sometimes I remember, hearing adults, oh, you don't do this or you don't do that. And, we didn't do this and we didn't do that. And those don't always be true statements. And then it messes children up because it makes them think something's wrong with me, when really there's nothing wrong with you, except for someone needs to be honest to you. You know, yeah, use wisdom when it comes down to children, but be truthful to them. And to me, you are a great advocate because you have not forgotten where you've come from, and you are willing, and you have not. It's not just, it's a job, it's a heart. Your heart is in it. I
Mm,
love children. I want the best for children,
mm,
and I'm gonna tell you, like, one of our loved ones told me, sometimes we only can help those that want our help, because we
yes.
may not be able to help everyone, but definitely don't give up, because we can help a lot of people. There's a lot out there that needs help and want the help. And me, not just speaking as your sister, because you could be my sister not doing a great job. That's not me to say, oh yeah, she's great. I think you're great. I went back to school and you helped me out. And I thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, we are coming up to my threshold, but I do want to ask this last question, because what we do on my page is we promote. We number one, we're gonna praise God. We are. We're gonna do that. We're gonna promote others. We're gonna be we thinkers, and we're gonna laugh. That's what we do on my pages, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm gonna ask you if you have anything you want our audience to know about. Is there anything you wish to promote or even share for someone else you know? If not, that's okay as well.
Well, I don't really have anything else, no more than you need great help for your babies. Don't struggle alone. There is help out there.
There is help out there. All right, my friends. Okay, don't go nowhere. My family out here in TV land, I do have a call to action. If anything that was said this evening, or if you want to know a little bit more, or you care to share with someone else, go right on ahead and hit that share button. It's okay, it's free. You can do that. Also, y'all see that QR code up in the corner. Go ahead and scan that. and go and get your copy of the SPED Chronicles, Leading Your Special Ed Classroom. Yours truly wrote it. I do believe that many teachers right now, because we got a lot of us out there that's alternative certified, and we trying to run these here special ed classrooms. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, them special ed classrooms is running us. So it would be best that you get your systems in place. And this is for the veteran teacher as well, because I know there are some veteran teachers that are still struggling trying to make the dots connect. So hopefully what's in that book is something that would help a special ed teacher somewhere that's got to lead their classroom. They've stepped in the role. It's not just you. You do have paras, and you're running your room, and you have to do that, and you have to execute well. So, without further ado, I thank you for joining me this evening, and we'll be back next week with another person with their perspective on who is Dr. Natasha Scott from the young years. All right, my family, thank you so much. I'll be chatting.